Hi guys, welcome back. I feel like it has been the longest time since I filmed any kind of sit down or chatty video, and I meant to do an update during pregnancy, but I swear it just zipped by, like in comparison, especially to my first pregnancy, which I just felt like it dragged so much. I don't know where my second pregnancy went. When you're chasing around a toddler, like I think time just really speeds up. So yeah, I literally just ran out of time and now baby's here. So I will get you to meet the baby in a second. She's currently with my mum having a little snooze. But yeah, I will also do a birth story probably at the end of this video because I know not everyone cares. Now that I have two kids, I'm really interested in birth stories, but I know I used to I just didn't get them at all before. So for those of you who do want to hear about it, I'll pop it at the end. But yeah, we are doing really well as she's a bit more than a month old now, and I feel like we've kind of settled into a routine. It has been kind of busy and crazy in general. I think we've had a lot on with our business, a lot of changes, a lot of exciting things happening with that, which has taken up a lot of our time. Then my mum moved house, so unfortunately my mum has some health issues at the moment which aren't going to go away, and she lived fairly close before, but she was still a 35-minute drive, 45 minutes with traffic, and so a round trip was an hour and a half, and she's basically just going to need more of our help as kind of time goes on. So, you know, with two kids and a very busy, business and all that kind of stuff, we just didn't think that it was going to be feasible to, go around and kind of be there for her as much as she's going to need us to be. So we kind of all collectively made the decision that she'd move a bit closer. So she's now only 5 minutes away, which is so great, and she's settled in. But her moving was like a whole thing. It took like an entire month of my life. She grew up without much money at all, so she really has that frugal mindset of we don't throw anything away, which is fine until you have to move, and then it's just chaos and it takes so much time. So I spent weeks just trying to organize everything and donate things and put things away, and it didn't help that I was super pregnant, so I had to take breaks every 5 minutes, but that took so much time. And then right at the end of my pregnancy, when I was like, great, I have a month now where I'm gonna nest and get everything organized, I kind of got hit by a lot of pregnancy complications, and they actually weren't complications in the end, but I got flagged for a whole bunch of testing because they were worried that something might be wrong. Like my growth charts were kind of all over the place, and it turned out to be nothing, but I just had to spend my last month basically in a hospital and doctor's appointments and testing and all that kind of stuff, which is obviously really worrying as well. But yeah, everything was just absolutely fine, and they were just a bit overly cautious, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, it was a stressful run up. So I feel like it kind of all came at once. But the birth went pretty well. There were more complications than with Leo. But we're home now, obviously, everything's fine. And yeah, just feeling very, very grateful to now have our little family of four. I will take you to meet the baby now, and yeah, do a little intro. So this is baby Elara. Hello. Can you say hi? Oh, oh, baby sneezes. How are you? How are you? She does have the hiccups because you just had a feed. But yeah, she's been doing so well. She's a pretty chill baby in general. We've had a rough couple of nights, the last 2 nights. So I'm hoping that's just a phase because she's been staying up a little bit too late, and I feel like she's getting a bit overtired. But she also fights sleep like no one else. So I'm hoping it's just like a little bit of a rough patch. But apart from that, she is pretty great. She doesn't really cry unless she's hungry or overtired. But yeah, she's been doing really well. She's also been gaining weight so well, which I'm just so happy with, because Leo, we had so many feeding issues with at first. So just see her gaining weight and gaining all these roles and everything just makes me very, very happy. And yeah, we're doing so well, aren't we? Hi. Oh, we're going to have to sort these hiccups out, aren't we? Yes. You can say hi. Hi. You're beautiful. Hi. So yeah, that's Elara. She's just the sweetest baby and I'm completely besotted. She's been really good up until the last 2 nights. I am running on very, very little sleep. There was a lot of concealer happening today. But I'm hoping this is just a phase. But either way, like, it's just been so nice to have a new baby in the house. I would say that I have found this postpartum experience way, way easier than with Leo. And part of that is down to Elara just being a better feeder. Leo, we had a lot of feeding issues. He lost a ton of weight after he was born. I didn't realize there were feeding issues. I was just kind of happily breastfeeding him. And then we realized he really wasn't transferring as much milk as he needed to, which just caused a world of stress. So we ended up having to triple feed. I was literally doing formula, breastfeeding and pumping like round the clock. I didn't have any sleep and it was just all the stress that also comes with being a new mum. It was just totally overwhelming. Whereas this has been so much easier, in part because she has just been a much better feeder in general. Like, we did have to supplement with a little bit of formula the first week while I was waiting for my milk to come in, but since then we've been exclusively breastfed and she's doing really well. But I'd also say we made a couple of investments before the baby arrived, which I do think really helped in terms of the household help. We were debating how we were going to manage just everything. We're like, do we need more childcare help? Do we need help with the baby? Like, where do we need the help? And I was really set on not wanting more help with childcare, but wanting more help with the house. So we decided to hire a housekeeper just 3 days a week. So we have someone come in 3 days a week just for 3 hours. But honestly, it's made such a difference. It's like completely transformed my life. I feel like she helps with laundry and changing bed sheets and cleaning the kitchen and, you know, picking up Leo's toys and just doing anything that I just haven't gotten around to doing. And it just freed me up so much. And I do feel like it's completely transformed this postpartum experience and period. And then the other thing that has made just the biggest difference ever, we got this device, which is basically a robo vacuum mop. So it's one of these amazing new devices that vacuums, but then it also mops as well. But it's a robo version, so it does it completely by itself. And honestly, this has like been the biggest game changer. It is my favorite thing in our entire house in terms of like an actual appliance. So the one I have is the Narwal Frio Z10, and it's just like, it's just amazing. Like, I know I usually get excited about handbags, but for me, this is like the Chanel handbag of the appliance world, and it's just made my life a million times easier. Like, we have a pretty messy household. Dan isn't Mr. Spotless Clean at the best of times, but then added onto that, we have Leo, who loves playing outside and seems to bring in just so much of the outside every time he goes out. And then of course we have Yoshi as well. So keeping our floors clean is just a battle I lose on a consistent basis. But this has just completely transformed cleaning in general, I would say, like, but it's just also made this particular postpartum period just so much easier. So it kind of lives in its own little home. It looks fantastic as well. So it's not an eyesore at all. It looks so sleek and so good. Takes itself out, vacuums the area, and then I have it set to vacuum first and then mop after. So it will clean up all the crumbs and the dirt and whatever else is on the floor, and then it will go back and mop that whole area. But you don't need to clean up before it does, because we have just so much junk on our floors at all time. We have wires and toys and dog toys and just all kinds of stuff on our floor. It actually avoids all those things. So you don't need to clean up in order for it to work. It will literally just sidestep all those things. It will go in between the high chair. Like, it's just the most amazing thing. We tend to set it to do it at night, so it's the last thing that we kind of do. We just literally program it from our phones, turn it on, and then it will go ahead and clean our floor, and we just come down and it's just spotless. Once it's done, it then tucks itself back into its unit and cleans itself. So you don't even need to clean it. It like detangles itself as well. Like, you literally don't need to touch it. It is the most amazing thing. And if there's one appliance you splurge on this year, I would highly recommend this, because it's honestly been the biggest game changer for me. Narwal were nice enough to partner with me on this video, and I will show you it in action in a second, because Leo spilled kinetic sand all over the floor this morning, so I do need to turn it on. So I will show in all its cleaning glory, but it's just been the most amazing addition to our house. It is so good. Okay, so this is my favorite thing in person. It looks so good, I think, and I'm gonna show you it in action now. So this is it go. I love the fact that it does all the edges. You don't have to worry about your wires because it just goes around them and ignores them, which is amazing. So it does both the rugs and carpet and wooden floors. It can navigate under furniture. Excuse the sheets right there. I am drying them because we had some accidents in Leo's bed last night. Ignores Leo's digger toy. And I have this set to vacuum and then mop. So it will go over the same area. So it will vacuum first and then it will go ahead and mop. Just like the most amazing thing. Would highly, highly recommend. And I've just gone ahead and recorded it. So now it's just gonna pop itself back into its little home. And then it'll start cleaning itself. So good. Task completed. So yeah, those two things have made such a difference this time. I'd also say that something that's made a really, really big difference to my overall experience has been just how much we've been getting out. We haven't had any childcare for the last 3 weeks because our nanny went on a very well-deserved holiday. So we've been flying completely solo with both kids. So we've just had to kind of get out as much as we can. I was a bit nervous about it because I didn't know if I could take the baby out that early. I really didn't with Leo at all. But my midwife said that we could just kind of crack on and go out and about. So we've been doing all the things like going to parks and soft plays and theme parks and a safari park and just all the things to keep Leo occupied. If you have a toddler at home, you all know that it's not so fun to be cooped up all day long with them. It's been really lovely weather too. So we've just been out and about. I was kind of thinking back to my postpartum period with Leo and like just how many TV shows I watched. Like I remember I got through Emily in Paris and all of Downton Abbey and Bridgerton and just all the shows. And this time I've literally watched nothing because we've had no time, but it's been like a really nice few weeks just kind of bonding together as a family. And yeah, it's been really, really lovely. I also just got my Nordstrom order through like literally a couple of hours ago. So I thought I'd share what I got so far. It's only a very small part of my order. I feel like shipping has been really slow this year. But I'm really excited with the items that I got. Not everything has been a success. So I did get the page blouse, which I hate with a passion. It's too small for me to begin with, but just generally so not cute. So that is definitely a return. The other kind of more like floaty blouse I got from Veronica Beer though is gorgeous and I'm so happy I got it. I took a bit of a risk and I got my regular size, mainly because it was so expensive that I didn't want to get the size I currently am when hopefully I'm going to lose some more weight. So I took a risk, but thankfully it's floaty enough that I can kind of make it work now. But it's so nice. And then I also got this adorable little onesie, and I'm not going to put this on Elara yet because I haven't washed it yet, but how cute is that? I just realized I'm showing it to you back to front. It's like this. So cute. I ordered the blue one as well, but that one hasn't arrived yet, but absolutely adorable. I really didn't rate the anniversary selection for boys this year. Like I did have a look for Leo, but I just didn't really like anything, but the girls items were really cute. I think this is so adorable. All right, so this is the Veronica Beer top, which I absolutely love. I just have leggings on because I am nowhere near attempting to wear jeans right now, but I think it will look great with a pair of jeans when I do get there. And I just think this is gorgeous. So it has this ruching around the wrist and it has kind of floaty sleeve, semi-sheer, really lovely. It is has a separate camisole underneath, a little button detail right there, and it has ruffles around the collar and this beautiful little drawstring effect as well as the print all over. Really pretty navy color, and I just think this is so stunning. Super thrilled with it, unlike the page one, which is just a disaster. But yeah, I absolutely love this. Okay, so this is the CC top. Apologies, I've not had time to steam, but to be honest, I'm shocked I'm even being able to film right now without the baby crying. But I thought this is so cute. It's a bit tight around the midsection, but I just had a baby, so. But I thought the neckline was absolutely adorable. It has this kind of eyelet effect right there. Then a sort of tie effect there. Nice little pattern on the shoulders. And I just thought this was so cute. I think it'd be great tucked into jeans, a skirt, like so many different options. I love the color as well, just a really, really pretty blue. And then I got this other top from Cece as well. I'm a sucker for their Swiss dot pattern. I thought this was so cute. Nice little tie detail on the sleeves there. Slight puff sleeve, but nothing too crazy. And then it has a deep V-neck and then this kind of stretchy material. So it's a little bit snug, so I'm debating the next size up. But if not, hopefully it will fit when I lose some of the baby weight. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Yoshi. Are you bouncing on your bear? Oh my goodness. And then finally I have this night dress, which I absolutely love. I am wearing a bra with it because otherwise I will leak everywhere. But I just thought this was so cute. It has a little bit of lace detailing on it. And Leon is digger. And it's just really, it's like the nice combination of just cute, but still like loose and flowy. Very, very comfortable. Not too short either. Like it's still like a nice kind of length. And yeah, just super cute.
He's waking up. Yeah. We're gonna go to water.
You're gonna go to the water?
And play with 2 tractors.
And play with 2 tractors?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Grandma's gonna have 2 tractors.
Grandma's gonna have 2 tractors. Where's she gonna
have 1 tractor.
Just 1 tractor. Where's Grandma gonna get a tractor from?
It's gonna have a water.
Is it gonna have water? Wow. Did you know you're gonna have a water tractor?
No, apparently I got a and tractor and water.
Wow. All right, just fed Elara and she's down for a nap. So I thought I'd return for that birth story that I promised you. So as I mentioned, I had a few complications leading up to, or rather what they thought were complications and turned out to be absolutely nothing. And so that kind of rocked me in the last few weeks. I was going to go in for a planned C-section anyway. I had a forced but planned C-section with Leo because he was breech right up until the very end, and my doctor just advised me that a C-section would be safest. So that's what we did with him, and it was just the most positive, wonderful experience. We had no complications. I literally stayed 1 night and was discharged the next day. It was great. So with the NHS, once you already had 1 C-section for whatever reason, you would then just kind of get offered another one. You can also try for a kind of regular delivery if you want. I debated it. I asked my friend who's a midwife as well, who's very pro natural birth, but she was like, honestly, Amy, you had such a good experience with your first. You might as well kind of just do a second if that's what you're leaning towards. So I ended up going for another planned one. So that was scheduled for, I think it was the Thursday. We had everything in place, and like when you have a toddler, you have to obviously arrange for a lot of childcare and, you know, with the dog as well, and just make sure that everyone's cared for and happy and going to be safe and well fed. So we got all that lined up, we were ready to go, and then 20 minutes before we were due to leave, I got the call saying we'd been bumped from the list because there had been so many emergencies that they'd taken over the elective theatre list as well. So they're like, you can either choose to come back on the Saturday and hope you can get onto the emergency list. They don't do planned C-sections on a weekend with NHS, at least the hospital that I was going to, or you can come back on Tuesday and then definitely be on that list. We had to consult our childcare options, and unfortunately we couldn't get any childcare that was wraparound for the Tuesday. So we kind of had to just take our chances and go for the Saturday option, hoping that I wouldn't get bumped again. But then once we decided on the Saturday option, we got a call in the afternoon from the hospital saying, change of plan, we now have started putting on the elective theatre team on the Friday because we've had so many emergencies that we've kind of had to try and catch up. So they're like, you're now booked in for just a few hours time. And I was like, oh my goodness. So we had to rush the hospital and do all my pre-op stuff again. So take another blood test and get medication and all that kind of stuff. That night I tried to kind of like mentally prepare myself because obviously it's quite a big thing knowing you're going to have a baby. That night, well, you know, I went into labour, and it was very, very early labour, thank goodness, but I basically just started experiencing the worst cramps. And I was chat GPTing, so I was like, what is going on? It just feels like the worst period ever, like what's happening? And it was like, yeah, pretty sure this is early labor. So I was like, right, not ideal timing, but we were due to go in first thing in the morning anyway, like really, really early. So I was like, fine, like nothing to do. It's obviously not advanced. So we went in. Luckily, we were number 2 in the day anyway, so we're really early. I think we went into theatre about 10:30, I would say. So there wasn't too much hanging around, which is great because you also can't eat before a C-section. So with the 3rd trimester hunger, I was really worried that I'd have to go all day, but that was great. Baby was born, so the whole kind of pre-op stuff was absolutely fine. The first time round with the spinal, I had like a major case of the shakes. This time I didn't have that, but when I kind of lay down, you like go numb and they test it to make sure it's all working and all that kind of stuff. But overwhelmingly, I had this feeling of just tiredness go over me, as in I was so tired all of a sudden, I couldn't even get words out. And I was trying to talk to Dan through the whole thing, and I just kept saying to him, I'm just so tired. And I was saying it slower and slower because it was taking all my will to like actually get the words out. Dan clocked that this was not normal, so he called the doctor over, and they were like, right, I think it was like my heart rate was getting a bit too low or something like that, or my blood pressure. So they gave me some ephedrine, which basically got everything back to normal. But I think that had then maybe the effect of Elara came out with slightly lower oxygen levels than what they wanted. So as soon as they got her out, like they showed her to me, but then they whisked her away. And I knew that wasn't normal because with Leo, they immediately put Leo on my chest and that's kind of where he stayed. So I knew something was up, and I kept asking Dan, who was just staying by me. I kept looking over and he was like, they don't look worried, they look fine. Like maybe they're just like cleaning her up, or we didn't really know what was happening. And then a few minutes later, they came back to us and were like, basically her oxygen levels aren't terrible, but they aren't quite where we need her to be. So we're gonna have to take her to intensive care. So they did that, and before they did, they kind of brought her over to me. And this whole time I was just like, please just take her away, like take her to intensive care. As much as I would love a cuddle, like, because I didn't know if she was, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if she was gonna breathe okay by herself, if her levels were gonna drop more. Like I was just so concerned about her breathing. So I was like, you can take her, please just go. Like I want to make sure that she's hooked up to things and we can monitor her and just make sure she's okay. They probably thought I was a complete weirdo, but they took her away. Dan stayed with me in recovery, and then they took me to my room. And then Dan kind of flitted in between kind of her and me and just kind of try and keep tabs. There wasn't really much for us to do. The midwife that saw me kind of pre-op was really lovely and just kept me informed. She then unfortunately passed the 4-hour mark, which then meant because she wasn't breathing on her own without a little bit of help, they then had to keep her in for a little bit longer in the intensive care unit. I think it was then 5 hours after the operation that I was then able to walk. So as soon as I was able to walk, me and Dan went over to intensive care, and that was the first time that I actually properly met her. Like I saw her very briefly in the operating theatre, so I hadn't held her or met her or anything like that. So got to intensive care, I was able to hold her. She latched immediately, which was amazing. I was really concerned about like the rocky start to our feeding journey. Thankfully, I had expressed a load of colostrum before, which was keeping her fed, which I was so grateful that I did. But as soon as we started holding her, like me and Dan took turns and I was trying to feed her, her oxygen levels went right up. And they weren't like drastically bad before or anything like that. But as soon as we were there, she just started hitting the levels that she needed to. So she was able to be discharged within an hour, which was great. So I could take her back to my room. Unfortunately, it then meant because they weren't sure why her oxygen levels dropped, they then had to run a whole bunch of tests because they were a bit worried that there was some kind of virus that they hadn't picked up on or infection. So we had to stay, I think it was one more night. Honestly, it's crazy how it was only a month ago, but it's already a bit of a blur. I think it was just one more night that we had to stay, which was longer than I wanted to. I was kind of hoping I'd be out just the next night, especially because of Leo, but we were very well cared for, and I like the fact that obviously they were keeping tabs on her. But she passed everything with flying colours, which was great. So yeah, we managed to go home then I think it was on the Sunday eventually. And, you know, we came home to both grandmas and Leo got the baby, and that went well. And yeah, we've just been kind of busy establishing feeding and just all that good stuff ever since. So it was definitely a little bit more dramatic than Leo, which was just, there wasn't even a birth story. I literally just went in, he got cut out, and then like that was it. We went home the next day. But I'm just so grateful that she's okay. Like anytime you go to like an intensive care unit for babies, it's just the most kind of, it's a really insane experience, because obviously you have so many babies, some of which are just really tiny and premature, and it just, you know, if you're lucky enough not to have to spend a lot of time there, it makes you immensely grateful, and just you feel so sorry for the other babies there. But yeah, I'm happy we're home and just kind of settling in. I don't even feel like we're settling in now. I just feel like we're cracking on and just trying to, you know, figure out life as a family of 4/5 if you include Yoshi. So yeah, that's our little birth story. Let me know if you have any questions down below. If you want to know anything, I didn't do a birth story with Leo, so I don't know if I'm missing out crucial details or anything like that. But if you have any questions for me, pop them below. I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, that's our little story.